There's one point where I was living in a rehearsal space kind of similar to this, and
you had the necessities for like music and your guitar.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't supposed to be there. And sorry, Shanti, but the people that owned it that I was working with were away on tour, and it had 24-hour power and a couch.
Yeah.
And so intermittently in between tours for probably like 6 or 9 months, I slept on this couch in a studio and with my headphones on and my little laptop with DVDs. And I just learned there was a Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusion DVDs that I had. And I just would watch them over and over, and Woodshed and a couple other bands as well, like some Clash live at, whatever. And tried to master all these little things and implement them. And that's the same time where I was, like I said, doing 7 bands, 5 bands, 10 bands, some stuff that went on to become notable bands, some stuff that never became anything.
Right.
A lot of I was working with so-and-so from such and such band, and we'd have to get a big bucket to name drop all of them, and I'll spare you that. But eventually it's what led to me playing in Faster Pussycat. When first time they called me, I was 26. I can't remember. When I joined the band formally, I was either 26 or had just turned 27, but I digress. But that was my 20s, was touring and just running through every gig I could in LA and not really living anywhere. I mean, at one point I was in Long Beach, I was in Hollywood, I was on your couch, I was on his couch, I was in the studio, I lived in my car. I've definitely slept in people's driveways and all that stuff. I mean, that's what it takes most of the time to be a career musician.
And I don't mean to laugh about that because the driveway thing is just kind of funny, but I see that. So what you're describing is something that's very common for a lot of musicians that I've known over years. A lot of people that have played, it's the hustle life. And I think there's something to be said for that, because there's a certain amount of tenacity and grit that comes from that you just can't teach. And I think that's like super respectful, because you get street creds for one, and two, like you get a solid fan base that understands what you're sacrificing in order to provide them with music and shows.